Be careful on a problem like number 4 because we're distributing into the parentheses, but you don't know what this value is like this, so you can't distribute 4 to the negative 2 in the parentheses. So first you need to reduce 4 to the negative 2, and then remember to get rid of a negative exponent, you move it to the opposite side of the fraction. And so 4 squared is 16, so the number you're actually putting in the parentheses is 1/16. And we're multiplying that times 3x to the y squared. And then when we distribute that 1 times 3, we end up with a final answer of 3xy squared all over 16. Everybody got that? Yes.
Would it be wrong if you put 3/16 xy squared?
Would it?
Yes.
It's the same thing. Here, we're distributing this into the parentheses, but you probably want to go ahead and get rid of that negative before you distribute. So the part that's negative is the x. So then the x goes on the bottom to become a positive. And so then we distribute it, 3x negative 2yz is all one monomial. So basically we're just doing 5 times 3, which is going to end up being 15, x to the negative 2yz all over x to the 4th. But it's not in its lowest terms because you still have 2 x's, so you have to combine those two by subtracting because it's division. And your final answer is 15yz at the top. Negative 2 minus 4 is going to be x to the negative 6, so then it has to go to the bottom, so it's positive. So the final answer is 15yz over x to the 6. Everybody got that? If you don't, you can go back online and look at it because I'm putting a review on YouTube so you can practice tonight. Here it says evaluate h of x, which tells us this function notation, same thing as y, equals 1/2 times 5 minus 6x plus 9x. All you're doing is taking this x and doing what with it? Plugging it into each one of the values of x. And so we end up with 1/2 times 5 minus 6 times 2/3 plus 9 times 2/3. And so you could type it all in your calculator because your calculator works it out for you. Or if you did it by hand, then you have to do PEMDAS. And PEMDAS, you have parentheses first. So 6 times 2 is what? 12 divided by 3 is 4. So in parentheses, that turns into a 4. And 5 minus 4 is what? 1. And 1 times 1/2 is just 1/2. Then on this parentheses, you have 9 times 2, which is, and 18 divided by 3 is 6. So you have 1/2 plus 6, and the final answer is 6.5. That was just a substitution problem. Number 7. It gives us this equation, and it wants us to basically figure out which value will make it parallel, which will make it perpendicular. But if you remember with parallel and perpendicular, equation has to be in slope-intercept form. So from the beginning, you have to take that original equation. Is that negative 1/3, right? Yes. Still checking. Take the original equation and put it in slope-intercept form so that you can figure out the slope, which is y equals mx plus b. This has a 2 in front of it, so you have to divide it all by 2. That cancels out. If you put in calculator, negative 1/3 divided by 2, or basically remember you keep change that to multiplication, flip. And so it becomes 1/3 times 1/2. Then this problem is y equals negative 1/6 x minus 3/2. You put in your calculators, remember it's 1 divided by 3 divided by 2, and then you just go to math and change your answer back to a fraction. You don't know how to do it by hand. And so parallel means what? Same slope, so we're keeping the same slope of negative 1/6. What does perpendicular mean? We have to do the slope. Reciprocal and flip the sign, so this is going to be a positive 6. Flip it and change it. Everybody got that? Oh, you really couldn't see that. Here's number 8. On number 8, it says find x and y, gives us the perimeters. What does perimeter mean?
All the edges.
Add all sides, so we're adding y plus 3x equals 14. Combine like terms in this equation is just going to be 3x plus 2y equals 14. On this one we add all sides, and that is 5/4 y plus 5/4 y plus x equals 12. 5 plus 5 is 10 over 4. 10 over 4 reduces to 5 over 2 y plus x equals 12. If you remember back in our systems unit, whenever you have two unknowns, x and y, then that means you have to have two equations, right?
Yes.
And so we have our two equations, and that takes us back to two unknowns, two equations. You use substitution, elimination, or graphing method. Which method did y'all use, or how many I just skipped it? What you use, Topher?
I use the one where you multiply this one of them to make it so that.
Okay, so you use elimination method? Okay, so I'm going to use this equation. It's already in standard. I'm going to put this one in standard, so my x is going to go first. Plus 5 over 2y equals 12. If you remember with elimination, remember graphing method, you have to put both equations in y equals. You put it in a calculator and see where they cross. If you use substitution method, you solve for one variable, like you get x by itself, and then plug it into the second one, solve, plug it back in. With this one, elimination would be the easiest, because you could eliminate the x by just multiplying the whole bottom by -3 so that the x's can cancel. Because when you distribute here, 3x minus 3x cancels. And so then here, -3 times 5 is going to be -15y all over 2. And then -3 times that is going to be -36. And then I'm going to bring down the 2y and 14. Now remember, you combine both terms. And so we combine -15 divided by 2 and, what is it, 2? And then that gives us -11 over 2. Is that what y'all got? Sounds like y'all didn't do it. Did y'all do it?
I did it. I just plugged in the answer choices.
Oh, y'all did. Okay.
Plugged it in.
So, y'all plug the answer choices in.
Yeah.
Oh, good luck if it's agreeable tomorrow. You need to learn how to do it.
Really?
So we have -36. Some of y'all just staring. You better write down the methods. Equals -22. Divide by -5.5 on both sides. Can you see the bottom? Yeah, you can. And so y equals 4. Remember, you plug it back in, and I plug it back into this one, and then y equals 4. Then you have 2 times 4 is 8, and then 14 minus 8 is 6, and divided by 3, that means x is going to equal 2. So the answer is what? C. So if you just use the answer choices, then you might mess up on the 2 or 3 gridables tomorrow if you don't know how to remember the substitution, elimination, or graphing method. So you need to make sure you study. Number 9. Given the system of equation is this equation, what are the lines? You couldn't have did this one by plugging it in.
Nope.
So we have 4x plus 2y equals 10. -2x plus 3y equals 33. Which method did y'all use on this one? Elimination? With elimination, all you have to do is multiply the whole bottom by 2. Because distribute here, and that becomes -4x, our x is canceled. Distribute here, and I rewrite 2y equals 10 from the top. And that gives us 2 times 3 is going to be 6y. And then 2 times 33 is going to be 66. Add them together, and we end up with 76 equals 8y. Divide both sides by 8, and y equals 9.5. And 9.5 is equivalent to 19 over 2. Plug it back in. And we have 4x plus 2 times 9.5 equals 10. 9.5 times 2 is 19. Subtract 19 on both sides and divide by 4. And then this x equals negative 2.25 or negative 9 over 4. And you should have got D.
Yay!
They intersect, but it's not 90 degrees because they're not perpendicular. They don't, they aren't parallel and they aren't perpendicular to each other. So they intersect, but they are not 90 degrees. It's just a regular intersection. Got it?
Got it.
So with this one, you really didn't have to get an answer. You could have just put them in whiteboard and looked up the lines.
That's what I
That's
did.
what I did. That's what I did.
Yeah, I just went the long way. All right, number 10. Given the system, what is the value of y? Is that an equal sign?
That is an
Yes.
equal. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just do substitution with this one just to refresh your mind. So we have 3 over 2 plus 1/2 y. I added 1/2 to both sides. Wherever I see an x, I could plug all of that in. So the new equation will be 3 times 3 over 2 plus 1/2 y. Then minus 2y equals negative 1. Distribute 3 times 3, that's going to be 9 over 2. 3 times 1 is going to be 3 over 2y. Minus 2y equals negative 1. Get rid of the fractions by multiplying everything by 2. That gives us 9 plus 3y minus 4y equals, I can't tell my signs, it's negative 2. Okay. Combine like terms, we end up with 9 minus y equals negative 2. Subtract 9 on both sides and we get negative y equals negative 11, which is going to be y is 11. Should I get that?
No, I was.
Did anybody get y equals 11?
I didn't get anything close to that.
Okay, we're on number 11. Given the system, this means y'all got a lot of systems. Y'all can go back and study. What method could we use? Graphing. Let's put them in y equals. Okay, so we use graphing on the first one. We have negative 2y. Subtract 3x on both sides plus 6. Divide by 2. Oh, negative 2. And we end up with y equals 3 over 2x minus 3. On the second one, we have 3y, subtract 2x on both sides, we end up with negative 2x plus 8.
Yes.
Divide everything by 3 and we get y equals negative 2 thirds x plus 8 thirds. And you really could stop here. Because if you look at your slopes, one of them is negative 2 thirds, one of them is a positive 3 over 2. So what do we know about those two lines? What are they going to be? They're going to be perpendicular to each other. They don't have the same slope, they have reciprocal slope. So in this case, you don't have to look for an answer. Coincide is the same as infinite many solutions when they're the same and they coincide, they're the same on top of like. Just in case you don't know what coincide is. Got it? All right. Number 12. If 2 comma 3 is a solution, explain your answer. So basically we're taking the x and y and plugging it in. 2 times 2 minus 3 times 3 is greater than 6. That's going to be 4 minus 9 is greater than 6. Is negative 5 greater than 6?
No.
No. It's not a solution. Everybody got that? Also, remember with inequalities, if you multiply and divide by a negative, don't forget that you have to do what? Flip the sign. That's just a rule. Number 13. Given the graph, determine which segment represents each of the following. Which one's the steepest? C. C. Remember, mountains, hills are steep. They're kind of straight. They are loud over there. The longest resting period is what?
D.
D. A slope of 0 is what?
D and B.
B and D. Remember, zero slope is a horizontal line, guys. Who said? Who forgot the zero slope? And the domain is what?
A through E.
Time.
Oh.
The domain is the x. Okay, let's look at number 14. It says use the graph 14 through 16. I'm just gonna see if it's fit. Oh, it's not all gonna fit, but okay. What is the candle's height at 50 minutes? You go over. I cannot see that. Did it go blurry again? Is that counting by 20s? Okay, yes. So 50 is right here. At 50, you should have got what? 5 inches. Is that inches?
Yes.
Find the zero, the function. Does everybody remember what the word zero means?
Yes, it's an x-intercept.
Good job. The x-intercept. So our x-intercept crosses at 100. Everybody got that?
Yes.
Next one says find rate of change. What does the word rate of change mean? Slope. We have 2 points, so our rise is how much?
3.
And we're running.
-1. Negative 3.
It's counted by tens.
Oh, negative.
10, 20, 30, negative 30. Why is it negative?
Because you're going
Going
backwards.
to the left. So our slope is y over x, or rise over run, and that reduces to negative 1/10. Everybody got that? The last one says, write the equation of a line. Remember, an equation of a line is writing in y equals mx plus b form. We know our slope is negative 1/10. So we have y equals negative 1/10 x. And the b is the y-intercept. You go to the graph. And where is it crossing the y?
10.
At 10. Close that door since I'm recording is too loud. Any questions?
No.
Number 18. Given 3x plus 4 equals 12 and slope-intercept form. Oh, another parallel and perpendicular line. So we're going to put a 3x plus 4y equals 12 in slope-intercept form. Subtract 3x on both sides. 4y equals negative 3x plus 12. Divide everything by 4. Your equation should be y equals negative 3/4 x plus 3. 12 divided by 4 is 3.
Oh.
Everybody got it?
Yes.
The last one, watch you guess in the equations right there. I heard somebody say I guessed. Write the expression that represents the perimeter and of a rectangle with a length. I can't scroll up, so I'm going to draw it. It has a length of 9c minus 10. We know opposite sides of a rectangle are the same. And a width of 5c plus 2. Y'all, can I please stop making those noises while I'm recording? And what does perimeter mean? Add up all the sides. So basically we're adding up all 4 sides, basically collecting like terms. So 5c plus 9c plus 5c plus 9c, what do we get? 28 c's. And then 2 plus 2 is 4, minus 10 is negative 6, minus another negative 10 is what? Negative 16, and so that is our perimeter. Any questions?
No.
Guys, please make sure y'all study.